Recording in progress.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So, uh, what is this? Welcome to this media conference this morning, and we're happy to see you during this new year after having been out for a few days to join the president's state visit to China. So, while I was away, Undersecretary Felix William Fertavella, his appointee, was the officer in charge, and of the department. I will be asking him to also update you on a number of things. And I have also been joining me this morning our Undersecretary Luena Guevara, who will give you updates on the power side, and Undersecretary Alessandro Sales will also be available in case you have other questions. Now, in the visit of the President to Beijing, as you are aware, the two presidents came out with a joint statement that included a paragraph on oil and gas cooperation, and essentially that was the statement was an agreement to resume discussions on oil and gas development. And these discussions will be building upon the outcomes of previous talks that have been held between the two governments. In addition, the Department of Trade and Industry also organized several roundtable meetings with investors, and the President highlighting the roundtable discussions. And these were on renewable energy, agribusiness, and legal processing and manufacturing. The 9 Chinese companies with about $13.76 billion worth of combined investments have pledged to invest in the country's RE energy storage systems and off-grid power supply systems. They have responded positively to the country's policy directions on renewable energy. Among the companies were China Energy International Group and China Power International Development, SPIC Guangxi Electric Power Company, and China Machinery Engineering Corporation, China General Nuclear Power Group, China Huadian Engineering Company, China Jiangyi Incorporated, Danjin Heavy Industry Company, and Mingyang Smart Energy Company. A number of these companies are already in the country, involved in a number of activities. Energy China has been in the Philippines for more than 20 years and has project locations all over the country. They include investments in power generation, substation, transmission, cell site, and fiber to home and data center projects. There are also a number of other companies, and we can go into those details later. And so we are very pleased with the enthusiasm that we have received from the Chinese investors during the roundtable meeting. And the President highlighted the opening up of 100% foreign ownership on wind and solar projects, and the investors were upbeat about these policy reforms and directions. So our Renewable Energy Management Bureau and Investments Promotion Office will be communicating with them and provide full support to hasten this cooperation between the Philippines and China. So, we also highlighted that in order to meet the 50% renewable energy target by 2040, we need an additional 52,000 megawatts of renewable energy by 2040. And of these 52,000, 27,000 will be from solar and another 16,000 from wind. And this does not yet take into account the development of the total offshore wind potential of 178,000 megawatts for the Philippines as a whole. So thank you. May I now call on Yusek Guevara for some updates, and then from Undersecretary Festivalia afterwards.
Hi, magandang umaga. Happy New Year. We have a presentation. Can you show it, please? We'd like to talk about the power outlook for 2023. The good news is that for Mindanao, based on the data that we have, there will be 0 yellow alerts and 0 red alerts. For Visayas, in the afternoon, when the solar power plants are working, there will also be 0 red alerts and 0 yellow alerts. But for the case of the evening in Visayas, we will have possible 5 yellow alerts towards the second half of the year. Now, I would like to focus on the Luzon power outlook. This is based on the approved grid operating and maintenance program with forced outages. And I will show you a scenario wherein, the next slide please, what we have for the weekly supply and demand outlook with forced outage rate. As you can see in this plot, this shows that for the week of February 4 to 18, when Malampaya is scheduled for maintenance, we have no problems based on this graph. The Luzon grid is expecting to reach 13,125 megawatt peak demand for 2023, which will occur on week 21 or the last week of May 2023. Factoring in the projected forced outage ranging from 500 to 600 megawatts for the entire year, along with the operation of existing power plants and committed power plants, the Luzon grid is projected to have 0 red alerts and 12 yellow alerts. 1 in March, on week 11, 2 in April, weeks 13 and 17, the entire May, weeks 18 to 21, 2 in June, weeks 22 to 23, 1 in September, week 35, 1 in October, week 42, and 1 in November, week 47. Next slide, please. If we are to operate 420 megawatt diesel power plants, we can reduce the number of yellow alerts from 12 to 1. However, running diesel power plants is very expensive, and it will mean an increase in cost per kilowatt hour. Thus, we suggest demand-side management. Next slide, please. Demand-side management, or DSM programs for various sectors, focuses on the use of efficient equipment and appliances and promotion and implementation of policies and programs that best fit each industry. For commercial sector, the utilization of energy-efficient equipment such as inverter-type air conditioners and LED lighting is promoted. Programs for industrial sector are designed to maximize intensive energy needed for its operations. These include utilization of highly efficient motors, variable frequency drives, and interruptible or curtailable agreements to electricity suppliers. Further, the promotion of the energy labeling program, which Ms. Quinty might explain more, will ensure informed decisions of households regarding the energy performance and efficiency of all household appliances. The DSM program for electric power industry focuses on the utilization of equipment and implementation of programs that support efficient load variation and management. Such programs include the utilization of monitoring and load control equipment, smart and advanced metering infrastructures, and adoption of smart grids. Let us help each other through the DSM program to reduce our outages during the summer months. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. So, as Undersecretary Guevara has pointed out, the outlook in the main grids. As for the off-grid, we are in coordination with the different agencies of government in order to make sure that there will be continuing supply of fuel and electricity to the off-grid areas of the country. Now, but at the same time, I would like to call on Undersecretary Fernandez to explain what the initiatives are on demand-side management that would complement the efforts that we are taking in view of the price impact that we have experienced of caused by external factors. Mr. Secretary, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Secretary Popo, and to our media friends. As explained earlier by Yusek Guevara, the Department of Energy is now in full swing in the implementation of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. Now, the first pillar on this matter is on the behavior, wherein we are trying to communicate the reintroduction of Asyong Aksaya that focuses on behavior. And what the improvement is on the part of energy efficiency is we are also incorporating a lot of labeling of additional appliances so that we can guide the consumers more on what are the appliances to be purchased so that we can be more energy efficient, and this would in turn provide more savings. So that being the second pillar is appliances, where we have the minimum energy performance for our appliances, and to be followed by the star rating on energy efficiency. On this matter, we are coordinating closely with our stakeholders, including but not limited to Meralco, and also to those that provide this the support for and the labeling of all their appliances, yung mismo mga nagbebenta ng mga kagamitan ito. The third pillar is on the building design, wherein we also, in the implementation of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, we emphasize that we have standards for new designs on buildings and also for retrofitting. The retrofitting can be immediate because we have observed that some of our big commercial energy users are inefficient because of the simple fact that they are not using revolving doors and the like, that basically adds a lot to their consumption of their energy because hindi efficient yung paggamit ng cooling systems. And also another pillar is where government comes in providing and implementing the government energy management program. So here, it's led by the Interagency Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee. And lastly, and more important, is the engagement of energy managers, officers, auditors, and energy service companies. So the Department of Energy Accredit is the same because it provides a new branch of employment, creation of green jobs, and mas marami pong benepisyo sa mga establishments na nagkukonsumo ng energy because it entails a lot of savings. So We're emphasizing this because during the first quarter, as instructed by the Secretary, we have to prepare for the second quarter. And usually, as can be recalled by our media friends, yung yung messaging natin for the first quarter is to prepare for the second quarter is more towards energy efficiency and conservation. Because as what Yusek Guevara explained, no, demand goes up during the second quarter dahil hindi sinlamig ng panahon ngayon, yung magiging panahon sa second quarter. And aligning it with the grid operations and management program, we have also aligned it with yung pagtaas ng konsumo ng kuryente dahil nga mainit. So we will have a lot of advisories that will come out during this quarter to promote energy efficiency, and it will help our consumers para to answer or to address yung mga nararamdamang bill shock. And for the second quarter naman, we will focus on resiliency because that's when we anticipate that typhoons and probably kung ano yung mga effects also ng typhoons like nagkakaroon ng flooding sa ibang areas, doon naman tayo nagpo-focus. So we are emphasizing this on our first, on the Secretary's first press conference because it's the start of the quarter wherein we emphasize indeed the energy efficiency and conservation campaign of the Department of Energy. So we ask our media friends to help us in the messaging so that it can gain traction and it reaches our our consumers. So yun lang po, Mr. Secretary, and to our media friends, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Yusek Quinty. So can we now have if there are questions from the media, you can entertain a few.
Yes, any questions now from our friends from the media? Alvin, you said you will have a question.
Sige, pwede ako magtanong.
Ano raw?
Alvin, yes, your question is...
Hindi kay Yusek, Wimpy, tapos kay Yusek Guevara. Kay Yusek Wimpy muna, pakilimanize mo nga, ano ka mo ang gusto mong i-amplify namin as journalists? Anong gusto mong iparating sa masa?
Thank you for that, Alvin. No? Ang gusto nating iparating sa masa is merong scientific na paraan kung paano hindi tayo maapektuhan ng bill shock. So meron tayong mga ina-anticipate na pagdating ng second quarter, dahil umiinit ang panahon, tumataas yung konsumo natin sa kuryente. At dahil sa pagtaas ng konsumo ng kuryente, nagkakaroon ng pagnipis ng reserba sa ating supply. At dahil nga dyan, mas kailangan nating maging vigilant, no? Making energy efficiency as a way of life because immediate din ang impact nito sa atin. So, yun yung gusto nating i-emphasize just like what we have done before, no? During the first quarter, which is January, February, March, we emphasize a lot of energy efficiency and conservation tips and campaigns. So, hindi lang sa behavior, kundi pati sa pagpili ng appliances at pati sa pagdisenyo ng building at para dun sa mga naghahanap ng paano magkakaroon ng savings at paano mag-create ng trabaho. There are energy efficiency officers, managers, auditors, and even energy service companies. So, yun yung green jobs na nakikreate ng bago na branch ng parang job creation na ginagawa ng Department of Energy. So, dahil saan, ang problema dahil yung editors natin hindi nilalabas yung energy efficiency and conservation campaigns, but the Department of Energy asks your help and also emphasizes that the benefits of energy efficiency are immediate, and when prices are high, when inflation is high, it also helps the economy as a whole. So when everybody contributes on this, there will be a lot of benefits, not only to our pockets as mga nagbabudget para sa mga pamilya, kundi pati rin sa ating ekonomiya.
Pero Yusek, ngayon pa nga lang kataas ng singil ng Meralco eh. First quarter pa lang, bubog na yung tao sa dagdag singil sa kuryente. Tomorrow, they're going to announce and it's likely it's gonna be going up.
Yes. Yun nga ang sinasabi natin, no, Alvin. Kasi sa panahon na nag-i-increase yung ating mga presyo, because a lot of the reason is because of fuel prices that are not under the control of the Filipino, kasi kadalasan dito may mga imported aspects sa paggamit natin ng fuel tulad ng petroleum products and coal. So, sinasabi natin na meron ding strategiya. Hindi lamang na dapat tanggapin natin kung ano ang dinidikta ng mga presyong ito. Kasi merong strategiya na nakakatulong din. Tulad ng behavior, yung nag-aircon habang malamig, pwede naman natin bawasan yung oras na to. At meron tong mga daan, no? Minsan 800 pesos per month na natitipid yung pag-adjust lamang ng thermostat from 22 degrees to 24 degrees, no, sa ating mga aircon at yung paggamit ng ventilador, mas nakakatulong din kaysa mag-aircon, mas malaking savings ang nagagawa. So what we are saying here is the Department of Energy is advocating that there are things that are beyond our control, but there are also things that are within our control. So doon sa kaya nating i-control, marami tayong energy efficiency tips. Hindi lang sa behavior nga, kundi pati sa pagpili ng appliances, pati sa pagdisenyo ng mga building or mga pag-check, no, kung saan sumisingaw yung lamig para matugunan natin at nakaka-epekto po ito sa pang-buwanan nating budget.
Last for Yusek Guevara, ma'am, alin po yung critical periods? Can you refresh our minds? Which dates are critical for the Luzon grid?
For the Luzon grid, the critical days are week 11 sa March, tapos sa April, week 13 and 17, sa May, lahat ng linggo ng May, tapos sa June, yung 22nd sa 23rd week, tapos sa September, this is the 35th week, sa October, this is the 42nd week, tapos sa November, the 47th week. Yan yung mga possible yellow
Pero
alerts.
puro yellow po yun, ma'am. Walang red doon.
Wala tayong mga red alert based on our outlook.
Pero hindi po yan sure, ma'am, ano? Ibig sabihin, yung yellow na yan, pwedeng mauwi sa red yan if a plant bogs down or additional plants bog down.
Yes. Yun yung ating sana wala tayong sudden outage because we have, let's say, one plant na biglang nasira. Magkaka-red alert tayo nun. Doon sa mga dapat sana i-yellow alert lang. Pag sinabayan niya na biglang may nasira na planta, magkaka-red alert tayo.
Kahit maliit na planta lang, o kailangan malaking planta ang masira para mauwi tayo sa red?
Malaking planta.
Anong capacity?
Kunyari, pagka nawalan tayo, let's say, ng mga... Kasi ang ating margin ngayon, 500, 600, pwede tayo magkaroon ng force outages. So, pagka kunyari, fractioner of, let's say, mga 100, 200 megawatts, magkakaproblema tayo. Alam mo, Alvin, kung kunyari ang tao, sabi nga ni Yusek Quimby, ay magtitipid, hindi tayo aabot sa part na kailangan natin patuloyin yung mga mahal na planta, which means tataas ang presyo, or hindi rin tayo magkakaroon ng red alert kung bababa yung demand natin.
Andrea, kung mga makinig ng soundbite kay Secretary, I think it's unacceptable na ganyan na lang lagi every year parang magre-rely tayo sa demand side management. When in fact, dapat tuloy-tuloy yung pagtatayo ng planta. No? Sec, can we get a soundbite from you na in your administration, madadagdagan yung capacity natin at hindi tayo magre-rely lang palagi sa demand side management?
Arranging our entire power supply. Kasi kung maaari, hindi dapat itipirin natin yun at hindi na mangangailangan na magkakaroon pa tayo ng additional planta na ipatayo. No? Kung ang ating konsumo ay magiging more efficient, that means diesel-fired power plants. Dahil ang diesel-fired power plants, mas mahal dahil imported nga yung fuel at saka mataas yung presyo ng diesel sa ngayon. So, hindi natin dapat tingnan yung demand-side management na parang palakip butas lamang. Dapat ito ay nagiging natural element or embedded already in our entire management system. Kung naalala ninyo, yung so-called energy intensity, that means the amount of power needed to produce a good or a unit of goods or services ay dapat ipababa natin. And part of this is this particular effort on demand-side management. Now, on the other hand, on supply, alam naman ninyo, Alvin, na yung pagpasok ng mga planta at ang papatayo ng mga planta takes time. Hindi ito maaaring gawin overnight. So, yun ang ina-address natin na sa medium term to long term, itong mga planta na pangangailangan ng mga ating bansa ay maipatayo. So, sa ngayon, yung inaasahan natin na yung mga planta that are scheduled to go on stream this year and next year will also be coming into stream, and that the transmission connections, the grid connections to bring the additional power to the market will be in place. I'm sure Yusek Guevara will have some things to add to that, please.
Yes, Alvin, alam mo, kung di tayo nagka-pandemic, online na yung mga renewable energy sources natin. Kaso nakita naman namin when we check yung mga renewable energy generators, talagang bumagal talaga yung kanilang pagbuo at pagpapatakbo nitong mga renewable energy. If we did not have the pandemic, the situation would be very different. Yung real alerts na pinakita natin kanina for Luzon, hindi sana yung mangyayari. So, as the Secretary mentioned, we have lined up a lot of renewable energy projects, medyo delayed lang. So maybe, dapat sana this year, okay na tayo. Another 2 years, makakahabol na yung ating construction ng mga renewable energy sources.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Alvin. There's a question here for the Secretary. This is on oil and gas exploration. President Marcos has said he was open to partnership also with government countries to exploit the Philippines' oil and gas reserves. Has there been any development regarding this? And is the Philippine government now ready to lift the suspension of activities in the RECOBA, given the agreement between China and the Philippines to issue talks on oil and gas exploration in the South China Sea?
Well, thank you for that question. The agreement was to resume negotiations or resume talks. So we do not have any agreement on moving forward yet with the actual actual carrying out of activities in the Recto Bank. But in the meantime, we are proceeding with the oil and gas development in other areas of the country, and as as Yusek Sales has indicated in the past, we will be open to foreign and domestic investors carrying out the development activities. So, more specifically, for example, in the case of PNOC Exploration Corporation, it has announced an invitation for potential farm-ins to a number of service contracts that are under the control of Philippine National Oil Company's Exploration Corporation. So as far as those are concerned, we will be able to go ahead.
Thank you, Eric. Question from Lenny: are the power plants that will be commercial operation this year and next year? It is already and how many megawatt using?
Thank you for the question, Ms. Lenny. For this year, we project that there will be a total of 1,074 megawatts that are committed power projects. So let me just summarize, we expect from coal 450, from oil 11, from geothermal 46 megawatts, from biomass 7.4, from hydro 31.36, from solar 418.5, and from wind 110 megawatts.
Thank you. Question from Raphael. Can we have more details regarding China pledges? What types of project? Where? How soon? Would we say the Chinese private sector investments in the energy sector would be the highest under the Marcos admin versus previous admin?
Well, what is this, Ralph? I think you will recall that in the Philippines, we only opened up the renewable energy sector to 100% foreign participation this year under the present administration. So that, I think, has made a qualitative difference in terms of the attraction that the RE holds for investors, particularly from China. So the level of interest, I think, would be higher because of that particular development. So the list of projects that that have been indicated will be given to you. So mostly it's in solar, photovoltaic, and in offshore wind, among others. And these include the wind turbine operators and others. No? So it's consistent as well with the statement that was made between the two presidents, that the two sides agreed to explore cooperation in such areas as solar power, wind energy, electric vehicles, and nuclear energy for electricity generation. So these are we cannot at this point we cannot say how fast they will be implemented, but the president has committed that he's going to make sure that there will be a systematic hand-holding of the investors, so that we look at it as one that would have as one government, and that we will be helping out the investors from day one, including being able to organize investors fora to invite investors to come to the Philippines. And once they have listed, they have given us their interest, then we can help them all the way to helping them out with the requirements of the local governments. Now, as for whether these investments will help contribute to power generation within 2023, I don't think that you can expect that they will be built that fast. But we must also place this in context that, for example, in the case of solar power and on-land or onshore wind, the cost of building photovoltaic, solar, and onshore wind rapidly came down once China came in also with its rapid development, because the Chinese market is so huge that the moment they themselves are going to embark, and they have been embarking on massive renewable energy development, that this will be down to the benefit of countries like the Philippines, because the per unit cost is going.
Question from Ralph here. How big is China's role in studying nuclear energy?
Well, they have several also companies that are studying, of course, conventional nuclear energy and even modular nuclear energy. And so it is important for us to keep also the Chinese investors' interest in this particular area.
Thank you, Ralph. There's a Bloomberg News has raised his hand. May I call on
Hello, can you hear
Mr.
me?
Leo, please?
Hi, Secretariat, to our users.
Yes.
My first question is, sir, can you please lay out the next steps? What's gonna happen with our talks with China regarding oil and gas exploration in the South China Sea? And if you can provide timelines, if there are any. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But the joint statement, of course, did not go into such details. And we will have to be guided by our Department of Foreign Affairs insofar as the timing and the subject matter of the resumption of talks and even the venue for those talks. So we will have to await their guidance on these things. Thanks.
Sir, just to follow up, in your talks with China, I mean, these energy exploration talks were halted by the previous administration because there was fundamental constitutional differences between the two countries, right? The legal differences. So, in your talks in agreeing to resume these negotiations, were there any indications as to how you will get over this stalemate, these problems that are that were encountered in the past talks that we had with China? Thank you, sir.
Well, that's the reason why the talks are being resumed, because this will have to be discussed. Our presidents have agreed in principle, and they have not. Of course, we cannot expect them to go into negotiating details at this particular point. But what it establishes is a healthy environment for the talks to take place, that there is at the highest levels of both the Philippine and Chinese governments a commitment to move forward the discussions. If you note, it says here that the building and agreed to resume discussions at an early date, building upon the outcomes of the previous talks. So we ought to be moving forward on the outcomes of those previous talks. And since the Chinese government also recognized that this is the first foreign trip that was made by President Marcos outside of ASEAN, and it is also the first foreign trip, state visit, that he has made in this year, and therefore that establishes a lot of goodwill. And we look forward to our Chinese counterparts reciprocating that particular spirit on the part of the Philippine government.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. There's a question here. Okay, for inquirer, what's the next step way forward to establish the framework for the joint oil and gas? Both Philippine and Chinese government have a deadline or timeline.
I think we have already addressed that. That's as far as the timelines, it will also be subject to discussion.
Okay, question from Manila Bulletin. Mr. Sales, SA38 or the Malapaya project will expire in 2024. What will happen after the year? Did the government have any extension of the contract?
Yes, the consortium filed a request with the department in early November for the extension of service contracted aid. As part of the procedure of DOE, we required them for some documentary submissions. We have also met with the operator as the authorized representative of the joint venture to establish new terms or conditions that may be applicable to the extended contract. At the moment, we are still finalizing the talks with the joint venture partners regarding a potential extension of the contract.
Okay.
Thank you. Next question, what are the department's projects to connect the off-grid islands in the neighborhood? Or are there specific projects that will roll out to help these off-grid islands in their supply and hopefully cut lower the power rates in these areas?
Well, thank you. Thank you for that question. So definitely there are proposals for connecting the off-grid islands to the main grid. Among them is the connection, for example, of Mindoro to Luzon. This proposal was originally filed way back in 2011, but this was not acted upon, and now the ERC, before the ERC, is a proposal from NGCP to connect the Mindoro grid, the Mindoro island to the main grid. In the meantime, the National Power Corporation has built a circumferential transmission line around the island of Mindoro. And this is going to help both provinces, Occidental and Oriental, because that means now that power generated in either part of the island can be shared with the other province. Now, as far as the problems of supply, this is one that has been addressed continuously by the new administration since President Marcos was inaugurated at the end of June this year. And we are faced, of course, with the challenge of the sharp increase or increases in the price of diesel since the Ukraine war broke out, and this has been a formidable challenge in terms of being able to keep up with the enormous increases in the supply of fuel. But we can assure you that government is doing its best, and so the Department of Finance and the Department of Budget and Management are working with us in order to provide the necessary bridge financing that would allow us to continue with the services to the off-grid areas. For the medium to longer term, there are, of course, reforms that are needed, including the introduction of hybrid systems, because the renewable energy systems, once they complement the diesel, since they do not require additional fuel costs, they will help bring down the price of power. But again, this is not going to be possible overnight, and we would have to ask the cooperation of everyone, including our consumers in the different missionary areas of the country.
Thank you. I think we have one here, one reporter here who is from Pinamalayan Oriental Mindoro. Yes, please, if you can please be online for your question.
Yes, good morning. Good morning po. DOE Secretary Lotilla, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, last October 7, 2022, si former governor and former congressman Rodolfo Valencia ay sumulat yata sa inyo, sir. Ang subject po nito ay sufficient and affordable power supply urgently needed for Mindoro. Pero ang isa pong issue na gusto niyang i-raise ay ito pong Verde Island Passage na tatamaan po nitong planong Batangas-Mindoro Interconnection Program. Ay kasi po it is center of the world's marine biodiversity. Ang papasok po dito ay NGCP, yung National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, na Chinese national po ito eh. Ito po ba ay papayagan nyo, Secretary, considering na ito pong 5 probinsya na nakapaikot din sa Verde Island, ay ayaw na ayaw po itong sa project na ito. Ano po ang stand po ng inyong tanggapan dito po sa Batangas-Mindoro Interconnection ng NGCP? Thank you po.
As far as the environmental impact is concerned, as you know, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources will have to issue an environmental clearance certificate, and there will have to be an environmental impact assessment that is going to be made. So we can assure you that if the proposed project proceeds, that it will comply with all of the requirements to be required by the DENR on this particular point, and that it will be consistent with the environmental laws and policies of the country.
Okay, Secretary, kung sa inyong opisina po lang, sa inyong DOE Secretary, Secretary, sa inyo po ba 100% na kung kayo lang masusunod, hindi nyo papayagan itong Batangas-Mindoro Interconnection Program? Kung kayo lang po, kung opisina lang po ninyo.
No, yung opisina namin is concerned with energy supply.
Opo.
Manuel.
Opo.
Kaya ang tatanong ko sa inyo, at itatanong ko sa taga Mindoro, gusto ba natin ng sufficient power supply sa ating isla? So, kung
Pero wala po.
ang sustainable and best solution is to connect you with the grid, and this complies with all the environmental requirements, then, or would you want to continue with shortage of supply, inadequate supply, and high prices? So, medyo dapat tingnan natin sa buong paningin yung issue. Maraming salamat, Ruel.
Thank you, Ruel.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Three more questions. One, Alena, your follow-up question. Extension, has the consortium submitted the work program, and how much investment have they committed to extend the life of Malampaya or develop the area SC38?
Yes, as part of the requirements in the request for the extension, of course, they had to submit a proposed work program and budget. And DOE, as part of evaluating this, has to make sure that the proposed work program actually is appropriate and addresses the needs of that area in terms of ensuring the continued stable supply of the gas in the Malampaya field, and of course also addressing the potential of the off-field areas for new discoveries. So at the current time, since our negotiations are still going on, we cannot reveal more details, but rest assured that the programs have been submitted and DOE has evaluated their appropriateness. Thank you.
Okay, last two questions, one from Lenny. You said there are the power plants that will be a commercial operation this year and next year? If yes, what are these and how many megawatts?
You can answer that finish na yan. 1,000 megawatts.
1,000.
Okay, last question, Alvin, you said we have one last question.
No more.
More? Okay, sige. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, and again, a Happy New Year to all.
Thank you very much, Senator Jose. Thank you very much.
Salamat. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Winfrey.